Speaker.
Todd Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What a great day for the Bay of Plenty. What a great day for the Bay of Plenty. The household labour force survey out today, unemployment down to 5.1%, the greatest drop anywhere in the country, and now the lowest unemployment in the North Island. And we have had just under 8,000 new jobs over the last year, Mr. Speaker. This is not some aberration. This is not something that's occurred out of the blue. It is part of a deliberate and planned approach of this government to build a productive economy. And what we have seen in the Bay of Plenty over the last 8 years is a significant change in circumstances for our community. Let me just talk through some of those, Mr. Speaker. Firstly, under export markets. The government has an absolute clear objective to improve access to export markets. We've just heard a superb outline from Jamie Lee Ross around the benefit of TPP. That's $6,000 for a kiwifruit per kiwifruit grower in the Bay of Plenty. The FTA with Korea was $8,000. Now that's $14,000 per grower, and there are some, including the curmudgeon from the north, who will say that $14,000 per kiwifruit grower in Northland and the Bay of Plenty is not sufficient. But my experience, Mr. Speaker, as being part of that community for 40 years, it is real and it is something that should be embraced. Not only are we talking about trade in terms of building an export market, sir, when you look at infrastructure, a key component of our business growth agenda, what a story we've got to tell in the Bay of Plenty. Huge investment in roads, the Tauranga Eastern Link that links the Honourable Ann Tolley's area with mine opened a year ago, the Tauranga Northern Link announced a week ago. This is a government that understands that you need underpinning infrastructure to set free the people's aspirations in a community, and that is what is going on in Tauranga at the moment. We have the greatest population growth, we have the greatest employment growth, and we have a government that is committed to putting the fundamentals in place to enable you to succeed. And for all of those across the other side who constantly carp and constantly see the world through negative lens, including you, Mr. Robinson, get out of Wellington, come up to the Bay of Plenty and meet people who are making a difference. Meet people who are making a difference and are actually succeeding. And what you will find when you go and listen to them is that actually they have quite a different set of ambitions and aspirations than most of the people who sit on the other side of the House. You are lost in a time warp. You go and talk to these people who are working hard and delivering for their families, in their communities, particularly in Tauranga and the Bay of Plenty, and you see people who are succeeding, who are aspirational, who see opportunity, and you have 10 years to their aspiration. You are
order. I sort of let it run for a while because I thought that the member might listen to the interventions he's getting from across the House. I think if he can stop using the second person and get back to speaking with an order, it would be a good idea.
The Labour and Greens and New Zealand First have 10 years to the aspirations of the people of the Bay of Plenty. And I am very delighted to be able to support what we are doing as a government, Mr. Speaker. In terms of infrastructure, we announced a couple of months ago the completion of broadband, Mr. Speaker. Fantastic. 23% uptake already of the ultra-fast broadband in Tauranga, about 25% above the national average. Again, talking to a community that is connected with the global market and understands the importance of underpinning infrastructure to enable it to happen. But of course there are challenges. You know, we understand that there are times where we need to acknowledge that, you know, housing's under a bit of pressure. We have got families that are struggling, particularly in terms of a domestic violence context. And I want to acknowledge the work this government is doing to talk honestly and openly and really about some of those challenges and putting plans in place to make a difference. And I want to acknowledge people like Heather Beattie, who are the Family Violence Coordinator in Papamoa, and Trish Ives and Colin Gardner from It's Not OK Papamoa, who walk alongside as NGOs this government's commitment to make a difference. Not just rhetoric, actually make a difference with structures and investment and a commitment as a whole of government and a whole of community response to issues which have been bedevilled this country for decades and have had terrible impacts in terms of individual families, Mr Speaker. I want to acknowledge today the fantastic...
The Honourable David